What is up, Z Fighters? It's Manga Adventures, and today I will be doing What If Uub was the main character in my Dragon Ball GT What If / retelling. It's no surprise people dislike GT. I thought it was very fun to watch. It was like a mixture of Dragon Ball and Z, but most people didn't watch Dragon Ball and only watched Z, so they weren't used to the comical, episodic nature of the show. When I first saw GT, there were a lot of like throwbacks to the original that I just like, it made me think like, yo, these guys really watch Dragon Ball. They really care about the show. They just didn't expect so many fans to be stuck solely on Z. Though there are still problems, which is why I'm here. I'm going to lay out everything I think is wrong so you know what to expect. First, flushing out new characters. This isn't just a GT problem. This was also a Z problem. They introduced Goten, they introduced Kid Trunks, and they just didn't flush out those characters whatsoever. There were so many unused characters in GT though that I just had to do something. Hopefully you like what I do with them. And the second issue I had was connecting all the sagas together in a way that makes sense. Like I said, GT is good to me, but even I have to admit, those sagas just didn't connect whatsoever. I mean, how did the Baby Saga connect to the Android 17 saga, or the Android 17 saga connect to the Shadow Dragon saga? While in Z, they did that much better with the Saiyan saga connecting with Goku's heritage and then building up to a bigger threat that is Frieza and so on. To do these two things, I may have to change the lore, but only slightly, nothing too crazy. Anyway, with the introductions out of the way, let's get to the story. We start at age 789, the end of Uub's training with Goku. The boy is now 15 and the two have unlocked his full potential, putting him at Kid Buu's power level. Goku has taught Uub everything he knows and has also trained his base form to be as strong as his Super Saiyan 3 transformation was back in the Buu arc. The two are healed up by Dende, and the first thing Uub wants to do is check on his village. Goku sees no problem with this, and the two fly off together. When they arrive, they see it thriving. Hercule has kept up with what Goku told him, providing for these people. He's bombarded by his family who have missed him greatly. His father is proud of him, his mother gives him a hug, and his brothers and sisters want to show him that they've also been practicing martial arts. Uub starts to tear up because he had his doubts initially and throughout the training, but to see everything work out just fills him with a sense of relief. He thanks Goku, and Uub's family invites them to dinner for training his son, but Uub quickly tells him that isn't a good idea, causing him and Goku to laugh. Goku is about to fly off and go home himself, but Uub's oldest sister comes up to him before he could. Since he didn't want to eat, she thanks him by giving up her treasure she found a while back and holds up the 4-star Dragon Ball. Goku happily takes it, but then notices there's a crack on it, which should normally be impossible. Uub notices his master's uneasy expression and wants to know if there's anything he could do to help, but Goku says he wants to find the other Dragon Balls to see if the same thing is happening before jumping to any conclusions, so he heads over to Capsule Corp to get the Dragon Radar from Bulma. Uub volunteers to come along, which disheartens his family, but he promises to be right back. The two fly off, and it doesn't take long to arrive at their destination. They are greeted at the door by a young girl. Goku looks down and freaks out, asking if Bulma somehow shrunk herself or made herself younger, but the girl pushes him off her and calls out for her mom, saying some weirdo's at the door for her, before walking off with her nose held up high. Bulma comes and is shocked to see that Goku is here. He then explains the situation, but Bulma already knew this, having gathered the other Dragon Balls already. All 7 have been cracked. Goku has no choice but to gather the Z Fighters and contact Dende. Nobody knows the location of most of the Z Fighters since it's been so long. The only ones they could find were Gohan and Videl, since they live in the same city as Bulma. Gohan is happy to see his dad, and the two catch up. They decide to go pick up Chi-Chi, but first they have to find Pan, who is out with her friends at the park. Uub volunteers to do this, wanting Goku to spend time with his son and his wife, and also because he wants to see the big city. Videl gives him a picture of Pan so it's easier to find her, and he looks around the metropolis in awe, but soon comes across a bank robbery. Of course, Uub, being from a small village, doesn't know what's going on. He's then stopped by police officer Marin, the daughter of Krillin, who is 18 years old at this time. She tells him that those are bad people, and when Uub offers to take them down, she says she would have done so by now if it wasn't for the hostages. As all seems lost, a person wearing a red suit of armor flies in saying this is a job for a hero, as they save the hostages and easily dispatches the criminals, announcing the city will always be safe with the Great Saiyaman 3 there to protect it. The crowd goes wild, but Marin glares at the Great Saiyaman, saying they don't need vigilantes in the city, causing the hero to fly off. After she calms down, Mary notices that this is the same boy Goku took to train all those years ago at the World Martial Arts Tournament. Uub properly introduces himself, and Mary says her father would be glad to meet Goku again if he's in town, so she heads off to tell her parents she was done with work anyway. I find it funny how Krillin became a police officer in Super, because that didn't affect my decision in this at all. The reason I did this is because I wanted Marin to go down a different path than her mother, who grew up a punk. So it'll be fun to see the personality raised by Krillin and 18 doing this job. With Marin gone, Uub heads to where Pan is supposed to be, hanging out and finding her playing video games at the park with her friends. When he walks up close to her, he blurts out that you have the same energy as the Great Saiyaman, which causes her to quickly cover his mouth. She frantically says it's because she's such a huge fan, before dragging him away, asking who he is. He introduces himself as Goku's student, and Pan is ecstatic to see her grandfather again, because remember at the end of Z they had a very close bond. But she immediately tells Uub not to let anyone know about her secret identity. She's done a good job of keeping it away from her parents and anyone who could sense energy. The reason for this is because she loves helping people and wants to be a hero, but her family just doesn't take her seriously since she's only 10 years old. Pan at first was very into fighting when she was 4 years old before Goku flew off, but it eventually became boring to her. That is until she started watching superhero shows / movies and reading comics. This rekindled her love of fighting and can also be seen in her fighting style, though her favorite thing to watch was the Great Saiyaman movie. She thought a hero that cool couldn't die out, so she continued his legacy. At this point, Pan doesn't know her parents were actually the first Great Saiyaman, because they gave up that life after she was born. It was pure coincidence she took up the mantle. Uub agrees to keep her secret, and the two head off to Bulma's house to meet up with the others. Everyone comes in hoping to see Goku for a good time, but unfortunately he has to bring up the situation of the cracked Dragon Balls. Dende doesn't know what's going on and contacts the Grand Elder on New Namek, but their Dragon Balls are cracked as well, which has never happened before in their entire history. And to make matters worse, the dragon won't even come out. Luckily, King Kai comes with what they need to do. Each planet in the universe has sacred water that can repair anything. There's one on Earth that was founded and kept in the lookout by the first Guardian, but before they do anything, Bulma wants to examine it, doing her best not to actually touch it. When she's done, they use it on the 4-star ball. It fixes the crack, but the water disappears, and the star on the ball turns black. Thinking this is just a part of the healing process, they pay it no mind. Bulma, with the help of Bola, or Bra, I'm gonna call her Bola, because that's the canon. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna call her Bra because that's what they called her in GT. Begins making a ship that can travel the galaxy in search of these puddles, along with something that can track them. While this is going on, Goku plays catch up with his friends and family, shocked to see how old Krillin and Chi-Chi have gotten. Pan jumps into her grandfather's arms with a big hug, excited to tell her how strong she's gotten. She made sure her father didn't slack on his training throughout the years, and even sparred a few times with Piccolo, so we don't get a repeat of the Buu arc, and Piccolo has gotten a little stronger as a bonus. I would say at 10 years old, with that much training, her base power would be around that of base Goten's, the fusion between Goten and Trunks during the Buu arc. After they get something to eat, finish catching up, they go to check on Bra and Bulma. They are almost done with Bulma working on the outside and Bra working on the inside. What they did finish and show off to the others was a living radar built and designed by Bra to track the sacred water named Gil. Bulma brags about her daughter being so much smarter and creative than her, and that she also did the exterior design for the ship, which is pretty impressive for a 9-year-old. Uub asks Goku if he could check out the ship, and Goku doesn't see a problem with that and heads outside to do a little sparring match with Vegeta, who's just been dying to fight him since he got here. Pan also wants to see the inside of a first spaceship and tags along. When they go inside, Pan tries chatting it up with Bra, saying they haven't talked since they were real little, to which Bra rolls her eyes and says, "I wonder why," all while still working on the ship. Because disclaimer, without Goku, none of the Z fighters really hang out. He was kind of the glue that held everyone together. The only people that really talk are Trunks, going to see Gohan every now and then, but that's just because Trunks looked up to Gohan as a kid, but even then it's very rare because now Trunks is the head of Capsule Corp and Gohan is a scholar, so there's barely any time. Marin then barges in the ship and makes a beeline to Pan, grabbing her by the wrist. We haven't met in a while, but that energy is hard to forget. Great Saiyaman. Pan panics, screaming let her go. Marin's power level will be the same as her mom's during the Cell games, wanting to train up to become a police officer, unintentionally going overboard. So Pan has to pull harder than usual to get free, which she does, but she stumbles back and onto the launch button, blasting the 4 of them off. The ship flew unnoticed so fast that no one was able to catch it before it could reach the atmosphere, and we know Saiyans can't breathe in space. Bra is pissed not wanting to go on the stupid quest in the first place, and the 3 girls start to argue with one another. Uub, not knowing what to do, calls the other Z fighters on Earth. Goku picks up, saying he can't track their energy. That's because Bra made sure that was impossible within the ship, just in case they needed to hide from an enemy. Kind of like a reverse Dragon radar, so he can't use instant transmission to get to them. Bra wants to go home, but Vegeta chimes in, saying this will be good training for her. Pan then adds, it is summer, and seeing the galaxy would be a cool vacation, and Gohan agrees and doesn't see a problem with the mission since no one should be stronger than Frieza. Little do they know. Marin asks why she has to go along and can't just turn the ship around. She isn't a child, she's an adult, she can make her own decision, but Krillin tells her the kids need someone mature to lead them and stop infighting. With everyone in agreement, these are the 4 that will go out and restore the Dragon Balls. Alright, that's it for part 1. A simple establishment part introducing our characters and the story. Marin and Bra were so underused, it was a crime. As for Pan and Uub, they were simply misused in my personal opinion. I left out Goten and Trunks because they weren't needed in the story. They should have had their character development in Z. It's too late now. It's way past. I mean, if Vegeta was so upset that Trunks grew soft, he should have been training. You know, that's his fault. This part lacked action, but part 2 and so forth will be full of it, so stay tuned until then. I don't see too many GT what ifs, so I thought this would be fun for you guys. As always, thanks for watching. You guys are awesome.